Hello, welcome to Tarot Lady in a Church channel. New Year's readings. Good to see you. I'm actually streaming this live as well on Discord, so there's some people who are listening. And I'm just going to get started right away. This is for the sign of Aries, and this is going to be a New Year's reading for you. What's to come in 2022? And I'm just going to do this a little bit and kind of calibrate a little bit to the energy, I guess I'd say. What do I feel in Aries energy? I feel like I feel warm. I feel very warm. So I don't know if some of you are traveled to a warm climate, or maybe whoever's watching this is in a warm climate, but all of a sudden I feel like I'm on a beach. So maybe some of you are going to be going to a beach. Three of Swords and the Devil card. Again, we keep getting the Devil card. Oh, I have to say, so there's some people in there in the chat right now too, and so I'm just going to say hi as well. Hi, Odeka. I see you there on the Discord. And this is going, I'm recording YouTube readings, so. Now, this Aries reading is going to have your name in it. Wow, so what is this? Warm on the beach, and it could be, I mean, Il Diablo here in this deck is in a very warm place. In hot water, there's something about like, maybe, I've just heard that thing about the frog and the, you know, that frog and the water's boiling, and you might have been sitting in some water that's been boiling, you might not have noticed, and then 2022 might end up being this very quick and sudden, this seems like right away, because I felt warm, like as if like, hey, do you know you're in warm water? I don't know if you know that. It feels like I'm in a tropical climate right now, and I feel very, very warm. So it could be that you've been sitting in something, or something's been happening for you, and you haven't quite noticed that it's like kind of starting to boil. It's not necessarily a bad thing, I don't feel it. It's just more at a certain point, it's time to jump out of the water. Three of Swords. I have to get a clarity on that, because I'm almost feeling like Three of Swords is just one of those things where you have to kind of go through the motions of it. There's going to be something that's maybe you're going to jump ship on. That's what I see. I see that there might be some people who could stand it for a bit longer, but you know, I don't know if I want to become the kind of person who could stand a situation like that for much longer. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I think you're gonna finally speak up, is what it is. These swords, I was thinking, it sometimes it's just like you have to go through the motions, and swords, of course, thoughts, and there could be something with Mercury. You might have a transit with Mercury very soon into the year. This feels very immediate, and I feel like you're finally going to either offer resignation on something, or you're going to actually speak about what it is. You feel maybe that you're in hot water about something, or it's almost like they're creating something that's not habitable. It's nice when it's a beach. It's really fun when it's super warm. Could be a high stress position, something like that. It's so funny because I did a reading just before this for the collective on Discord who's watching right now as I record these videos, and I got a career type thing as well. So maybe that's what people are kind of wanting to know about in general, when I haven't thought about what would you want to know in a New Year reading. Career seems to be a big focus. I think there would be like, it would be fun, and then all of a sudden it would be no more fun. It's too much fun, is basically it. It gets too hot. It's like, but the thing is we get burnt first. Like if you're out and you're like me and you get sunburned really easy, then you're out in the sun and you get sunburned, and you're actually having fun the whole while your skin's getting burnt, and then it's not until afterward that it's like, wait a minute, this does not feel good. So I feel like you're doing something different. I feel like you're recognizing that the water's too warm and that it's going to get warmer. Water, of course, I'm just kind of sensing a water energy about this, like that there's something of like an emotionally charged environment where you're probably going to want to just basically say what you think is best. This is kind of like Ace of Pentacles for them. It's like you're offering them the beginning of something, and that would be if starting with your foot forward, like starting with the right foot forward. Would be to kind of like express what you feel or what you're thinking about this situation. I feel like it might involve kind of saying that I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Talk about water, 8 of Cups. And this is kind of actually in reverse for the energy that's kind of getting warmer and warmer. 8 of Cups is kind of like that. It's sometimes like abandoning. It's, stacking up the cups and then walking into where you might be able to find 9 cups instead of 8 cups. Going to look for your 9th cup, and then hopefully you're going to bring it back to the 8 cups. Or, but this to me, it's coming as the energy that's kind of in charge here or something. It's like whoever's kind of making it a heated environment. It seems to me like they're just being impulsive. They're impulsive in the sense that they're following their heart. It's emotional. It's very emotional. But if I am getting this workplace vibe from you and an emotional vibe from them, it's almost like maybe workplaces shouldn't be this emotional, maybe not for you. Kind of fire sign makes sense there. Fire signs are very, very good at warming up emotions, and this person might have really liked you for that. They might have really liked that about you, that you could handle their emotions, because you kind of have like a lot of, you can kind of, what's that word? Temper the energy. This is somebody who maybe has a temper. This is the Sun card right here. Look at that. It's somebody playing a violin. It's kind of like you play the violin for their emotion. So there's like, this might be an extension of the reading that I was just doing earlier. And it's basically that there's somebody who's, there's this, you're very good at kind of soothing someone in the workplace maybe. It feels very much like that. And I feel like it's just kind of like, it's not my job to soothe you, but I do it because it kind of makes the day go by smoother, and then the emotions aren't so shocking. I wonder, coworker or boss? The last reading was about a boss. Anyway, this is kind of speaking to an individual thing, and I'm kind of looking for 2022. I don't want to get stuck on this story, but I feel like this is a big thing for anybody who's going to watch this, or, there's something, maybe a metaphor here. So what are you going to do? You've kind of put yourself in a position where you soothe somebody's emotions. Or you kind of, they still have emotions. They still have lots of them. They're bringing lots of emotions to a place where it's kind of like, I don't think you pay me for this. I should charge you money, or I pay you for this. So you could be the boss, and there could be an employee who brings too many emotions to work. And it's like, I don't think I pay you enough. Or I pay you. Oh, none of it makes sense. Really, it's like they feel like you owe it to them. That's what it is. Because of some kind of payment that happens here. This is Queen of Wands, and this is 5 of Wands. I see you putting up some resistance. Kind of building boundaries. This is kind of like a gate, a see-through gate. There's like, yeah, I'm right here, but I'm not going to be playing the violin for you anymore whenever you need to express your emotions. You're going to have to find a different way to do that. That's really interesting. This could be basically the theme for you for 2022 is putting up boundaries. I know a lot of people are doing that these days, just kind of like considering what it is that is good for them and kind of feeling a little bit more assured that it's kind of more like what is and isn't your job, you know, like kind of identifying that this kind of thing in the workplace, especially like if somebody's coming to work and they're constantly stressed and you have to like soothe their stress before you can get anything done or you can get a word in, this isn't acceptable maybe in some environments. Maybe in other environments it is, but I feel like in this environment that you're in, it's not. And there's this kind of distancing that's going on. Almost like retreating to a role that you once were in the past. You could have befriended someone at work and you've kind of maybe decided, I'm just gonna back off, and hopefully that's going to be, I don't know. Aries energy is a bit tricky for me to understand. I don't have any in my chart, but that doesn't mean, I mean, everybody can resonate with Aries energy in a way because there's transits that come through, and also you have a house, you know, in Aries, and certain things affect you in certain ways. So in this card, it's really funny. I'm seeing you looking at a tarot reading, which is right here on the table. So this is like immediate. This is like right now. So it's kind of to express that this is right now. It's probably, you might be going back to work on Monday or something, and it's like, this has got to start right away. This is not something that can go on any longer. That might have been, I'm almost feeling a sense of like there might have been an outburst before you left. If you went on a vacation or something, or maybe you're still working through the holidays and maybe it's like, next time I go into work, this is not going to be something I'm putting up with. You might be at work right now, halfway through a shift or something, watching this, and it could be the case that you're going to decide right now, no more. I'm going to distance myself. I'm just going to kind of put up that gate. Like they have access to you in terms of like you have to do your job, but other than that, it's like this person isn't going to. What I'm curious about is how is it affecting you? It's basically like you not wanting to see it go down like this anymore. This is Two of Swords. Sometimes Two of Swords can be one way where we're like holding one thing up against the other and then we miss something on the other side. But once we kind of become aware of that, this is kind of speaking to somebody who's a little bit more mature. It's somebody who's become aware of that thing, and you can use that to your advantage. If you don't want to see something, this might be how you distance yourself and put boundaries up. You kind of like put up these parameters on purpose so that you wouldn't put yourself or you wouldn't see yourself in situations like this anymore. So whatever these two things are, we'll take a look. First, I want to know, like, how did this affect you? You know, like, I want to validate that. I'm already sensing that it's definitely like, it's a feeling thing, or it's more like I'm not paid to do this. Like, it's kind of, I'm spending my time, almost getting like working extra hours or something in the feel of this. Oh, the comments going on in the peanut gallery right now. I just looked up for the first time. Oh yeah. That's good. Excellent. I like it. I like it. It's keeping me on my toes. Keep at it. That was Mr. Oh, it's not, I have a habit of reading the chat while I'm doing these readings. And Five of Pentacles. I don't have any more time to offer you. I don't have any more time. It's almost like I'm paying you and I work for you. Like, this is somebody who isn't making enough money to justify doing all of this extra kind of like emotional support, like work for somebody at work. Now, you know, sometimes people come to work, right? And I'm not going to say that it's not appropriate. For some reason, I'm getting that at your particular place, it's not. And this is, of course, I'm trying to get 2022, but it's like this thing needs to be taken care of right now. Like, it's time for you to set a boundary. This is, the cards are encouraging you, maybe, maybe not so much to kind of like walk out of the job, but more to find a way. You're mature enough to find a way to distance yourself from the things that you don't have the energy to spare. Extra things that you've been doing, maybe you're on a committee or something. or you could have been putting like extra hours in, hopefully to get like, you know, some form of like clout. But it seems as though the extra hours are just to kind of like, it could be somebody who works late to get something done. And like, basically this person sits next to them the whole time and they're working late too. And then they just like pour out their emotions rather than get work done. And so then it's just like, why did we stay late? We stayed late so that you could pour out emotions. And now we got nothing extra done, like barely got anything done. We could have just come back tomorrow and done the same amount of work. You making a decision, 5 of Cups, that it's their loss. That it should be their loss. Listen, it's not a spite thing. I think it's just more you not having the energy to spare when you're at your job. I really do sense this is a job thing. And you not having the energy to spare. It could be a relationship thing in a sense of like, maybe even with like, it's kind of like a sibling or something, or like, you know, that kind of thing where there would be, thank you, a good one. I'm just watching it. They're telling me that I'm almost up on time. That's good. I feel like this could be like a sibling thing, like, or a family member where it's like somebody might have a lot of issues and it's kind of like, you know, I understand that I'm your support system, but you're going to have to find some other people. I don't have resources. I only have 5 pentacles of time here for you. And you're asking me for 8 cups of emotions worth of support. And I don't have that. So it's kind of like it's boiling. So there might be some snappy kind of action going on here, like resistance. I've got you in 5s. I've got them in a 5 actually. And it's actually kind of passing that 5 onto them. It's actually them who's come to you to ask you for some time. And this is you kind of deciding that they're going to have to maybe cut back. 3 pentacles. See how 5 of Cups sometimes is like 3 cups are turned over and there's still 2 left. And if we were to take 3 cups away from this 8 of Cups, I feel like we have 5 and things might even out a little more. I don't know if you're going to be scaling back completely from this person, just kind of maybe expressing a little bit that there is a need to kind of get support from other places other than just you. However you're going to do that, you know, I hate to leave you on your own, to do that on your own, but I feel like this is generally what 2022 is about for you. It's about setting boundaries when people are depending on you for things that they're asking too much of you. And you're not going to leave them behind, I see that. It's just you're sensing that the water's boiling over. And why don't we cool things down while we still have a chance? Because otherwise, this is going to ruin a relationship or a friendship to kind of continue along this way. This is somebody who doesn't know they're taking advantage of you, but they are. You know it now. You can feel it. You can kind of, you had enough experiences, maybe even that one example I gave you where, you know what's going on. So you're going to decide that it's kind of going to be them who has to kind of find another way. And how are you going to do that? 2 more cards, and then that's it for the reading. The how, I think, is a much more complicated than what 2 cards can express. I am going to get 2 cards, but I feel like there's going to be a bit of resistance to... It's going to be kind of a one story, not all stories exactly. As soon as I said that, I get a card. Okay. Situationally. Basically, like, okay, situationally, this is a page of wands. They come to you, they're like, hey, you got a minute? I really need to talk to you about something. And it's like, no, actually not right now, depending on how much time you have. And it's almost like you've got to expect that, like, they're going to come to you 8 days a week with something. And so twice in one day, maybe. If you work a 5-day work week, they come to you 8 times a week or something like that. Say that's the example. Then, you know, it could be the case that you start establishing these kind of like ways of saying, no, not right now. How about we chat over lunch or something? And give them like, and rather than giving them like 3 hours of your time, you give them 1 hour of your time, something like that. There's this way of doing it situationally as they approach you. That's one way. And that's kind of like establishing one part of the boundary. is that you do have to still be somebody who's going to say yes sometimes. And you want to be somebody who says yes sometimes, I think, in this reading. And, oh, it's really going to fight hard on this one. It's like, oh, there's so many examples. And, there it is. Okay. Lover's card. If you're in a relationship, use it. If you have another relationship, this might be one of those things where consider what it's taking away from other relationships of yours. This could be a love relationship. It could be anything to do with, like, you know, where you're putting your heart in the moment. Even if it's like your relationship to your spirituality, if you're somebody who likes to meditate in the middle of the workday, don't ever let this person take that time away from you. That is paramount, that you get those things for yourself in other places. I feel like there's just, maybe you were trying to get it from this person, but it's like they're more like needing you than supporting you as well. Now, I think this is not telling the whole story. So I feel like we're going to maybe be getting some more of the story. I don't know if it's going to be in the other readings. We'll see what comes out. I'm going to be using a different deck entirely, so the story might pop out. So check out the readings, the other zodiac readings, if you'd like to at least hear another message, and maybe some more instructions will come out. I don't think so, because this feels like something that would be highly personal, that you would have to figure out what these kind of things are. But this is just kind of like an example of setting these kind of parameters, like whenever they come by, as long as I have kind of fulfilled what I need, then I can let them through. Otherwise, no, not right now. That kind of thing. And if it's in the workplace, it kind of means that there's something else big coming up for you. There's a reason why you're being asked in this reading to consider immediately setting boundaries with anybody who drains your time or drains your resources, because it almost feels like you're going to need them for something. But I think you're going to have to do this first, and it could be consequential. By you setting boundaries, you might actually be putting yourself in a position for something different down the road. That's it. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this. And, take care. Have a great new year.